Welcome to my presentation. My name is Mariette Site. I'm a senior in the College of Allied Health Social Work. My project is about understanding shortages of male volunteers, barriers and constraints to mentoring youth at risk. The background information is that previous literature indicated that youth at risk ages 6 to 18 who receive one-to-one mentoring have higher socio-emotional functioning, improved scholastic achievement, positive self-image, quality peer relationships, effective communication skills, reduced missed school attendance, and fewer risky behaviors. The literature review also indicated that there were shortages of male volunteers for youth at risk. A report from Big Brothers and Big Sisters of America 2019 reported that there were 500 youths on their wait list and 400 of those were boys. The purpose of this project was to determine the barriers and constraints in the recruitment of male mentors and to find out if Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Butler County considered gender among male volunteers and to determine which strategies could attract male volunteers. The study design was a survey was used in this study to collect data from participants. Emails were sent out to 29 participants. Population was composed of male volunteers and program coordinators at the BBBS one-to-one mentoring program. Former mentors were excluded due to lack of access to data. The method used was surveys used to collect the data. This was a qualitative research study to investigate the barriers and constraints hindering male volunteers to mentor youth at risk. The sample was limited to 25 mentors, randomly drawn, and 4 coordinators. The implications of the study were to improve recruitment strategies to attract male volunteers. This was an exploratory qualitative study that examined gender among male mentors, recruitment strategies, barriers and constraints in attracting and retaining male mentors for boys at risk. The research questions were: does BBBS consider gender among male mentors? What are the barriers and constraints in the recruitment of male volunteers? The instrument that was used was the survey to collect data from the participants and to protect participants' confidentiality. The participants' names and emails addresses were provided by the field placement supervisor and was kept private. Questionnaires emailed to participants used open-ended questions. For credibility, my phone number was included on the cover letter of the survey. The data collection took place the project started from August 2020 through March 2021. The selection of participants took place mid-January. Questionnaires were emailed in February, and the data analysis was conducted in March. Preliminary results were achieved in April. This study utilized thematic analysis to code themes from participants' responses. The limitations of study was that this sample was small, could not be generalized to a larger population, and lack of access to former mentors who could have provided important information. And also COVID-19 pandemic social distancing protocol prevented in-person surveys. Thematic analysis was used in this study. The responses were provided by 4 current white male mentors, 3 white college students, and 1 veteran volunteer, and included 4 program coordinators who were all white females. Preliminary results of this study suggest that BBBS consider gender among male mentors. They have strategies used to advertise their programs to reach different audiences such as social media, word of mouth, billboards, sporting events, and company newsletters. Also, the barriers and constraints, um, uh, the participants indicated that the screening process took rather too long um, to get to the match process with the child. And the commitment of 1 year that BBBS requires was rather too long. And the lack of knowledge about volunteer roles discouraged volunteers from signing up. And virtual recruitment also was a hindrance. This study was investigating various constraints in the recruitment of male volunteers and to find out if BBS considers gender among male mentors. This study also looked at how BBS could attract male mentors in their recruitment efforts to curb the shortages. The findings in this study confirmed what previous literature reported about the barriers and constraints in the recruitment of male volunteers. BBBS considers gender among mentors in their recruitment. Some of the barriers and constraints revealed by participants in this study were varied, with 3 of them stating that they were not sure. 6 participants gave the following responses. COVID-19 is difficult to do in-person recruiting. One said, I feel that during the pandemic, many people were afraid to volunteer and lack of campus presence mobilized the students on campus to do direct recruitment events. One reason was that the waiting period was too long before the match happened. Delivery of programs virtually because of the pandemic was not appealing to the children. The organization uses different activities to try and get male mentors involved, such as March Madness, marketing drive, advertising in social media, billboards, events, radio advertisement, word of mouth, etc. Other constraints and barriers that were found in previous literature included concerns about false accusations and misconduct, feeling inadequate to mentor a child, and it was rather costly to entertain a child, and also not wanting to let a child down should the relationship end abruptly due to the mentor's life situations. Strengths and weaknesses of my project. I would say this study was conducted at my field placement, and therefore some of the information provided in the organization's delivery of service manual confirmed the strategies used to recruit mentors. My project was carried out using a small sample and therefore cannot be generalized to the nationwide organization. The results of this study could have been different if more participants had responded to the survey. To conclude this study, results from my project reflect how much male volunteers are needed to mentor youth at risk. Would you consider volunteering and making a difference in a child's life? I also have a link here that could be viewed. And I also have posted here 10 reasons to become a mentor, which could be create social change in your community, one child at a time, spending time with a young person can bring out the kid in you, and also mentoring can change your life too. Future direction. The findings of this study will be shared with the organization so that they can use the results to improve on their recruitment strategies and curb the shortage of male volunteers in their organization. I would like to express my thanks to my professor, Anjanetta Wells. My references are indicated here, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to be a participant in the showcase.